You are listening to the Postcast, presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and our friends at the Glebe Central Pub. Make sure to check out the GCP, where the vibes are free at 779 Bank Street, and use the Send Shuttle. Just $17 round trip. The bus is on the way back to the pub right now with at least 50 happy customers. Senators get a huge 6-3 victory over the Boston Bruins. They remain undefeated in regulation since Brady Tkachuk returned from the Four Nations. 6-0-1. This one, it had its ups and downs, and we've got an injury update on Brady Tkachuk to get to. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Lalime's Martian. And Martian, you were boots on the ground in this one. What'd you see in the building, brother?
Oh, I saw a rockin' building out there tonight, Ross, and what a start for this team. That's exactly what they needed to do. You know, the Bruins have been playing pretty good hockey since the trade deadline, even though they shipped off 4 key pieces during that. And I was expecting them to kind of come in and you know, have that fiery passion that they've been going with the last few games. But the Ottawa Senators may never lose again, Ross. They are flying out there right now, and they're clicking on all cylinders. And trust me, the fans are loving it in the CTC.
They certainly are. And look, I can't tease a Brady Tkachuk injury update without getting to that first. We'll get to the highs, the extreme highs of the first period, and the fact the Bruins just would not quit in their attempts to come back. Now, it never got back to a 1-goal deficit for them, but it certainly didn't feel like a dominating win once it became a 2-goal game. Brady Tkachuk missed the last 4 shifts of this game, and they're saying, Travis Green did, that he tweaked his hip and that he'll be okay. I was nervous when I saw Matthew Highmore go out, and then I was like, wait, are they just trying to get a defensive-minded aspect here to lullaby this game to sleep? But no, Brady Tkachuk did leave this game in the last couple of minutes. Brady did get an assist early in this game to extend his point streak to 7 games. Incredible, even just hearing that. It's actually an 8-game point streak, but you can't count it as a streak because he missed games after the Four Nations. But we'll say 8 consecutive games with a point for Brady Tkachuk. But the head coach thinks he'll be okay. Martian, what'd you see in that first period? The Sens came out flying to start.
Yeah, right away, like in the first few shifts, like I was kind of sitting in that end where it was, you know, the visitor side, and I'm finding myself watching the game as far away as possible because they were dominating play. They were all over the Bruins at the very start of this game, and it fed right away into that, you know, eventually being that Shane Pinto goal where he kind of had a nice little turnaround shot from the top of the circle, a little sneaky low shot, and he fooled Swayman on that one. And it was just a matter of time before they were going to get one there because they seemed to be, you know, focusing very heavily on a good down low cycle, getting pucks to the net, and they were getting shots on. And it was just a beauty sight to see because, you know, those early starts for the team are going to be key all the time. We know the history of this team. It's a different team now, but still, you want to see them get off to good starts, and they did just that. They had a lot of pop. They fed off the crowd for sure.
3 minutes, 45 seconds in, Shane Pinto spins, fires, scores. His line contributes on that one. Ridley Gregg, Michael Amadio with the assist. And when Shane Pinto scores, the Sens win. Now 11-0-1 when he has a goal, and 19-1-1 when Pinto has a point in a game this season. Truly a remarkable statistic, and we will continue to go back to it as it becomes more and more profound. So Shane Pinto gets his 16th goal of the season. And it was just 6 minutes later. Tyler Kleven. Martian, do we have a goal scorer on our hands here? Back-to-back games with a tuck, and this one was a rocket.
It's really funny that he has back-to-back goals, but also, like, I mean, we've seen a little bit from him at the college level, and I've said it before in the postcast. He's got offensive touch, and he knows when to shoot the puck, and he's got a hell of a shot, Ross. We just saw it on display, full display here tonight. He absolutely pounded that puck. Little D-to-D action from Matt and Paolo there. Great little feed over to him, and he didn't mess around with it. He absolutely bombed that thing. Bar down. Hello. Ding. We were up 2-0.
2-0, and then it was a little bit of a step back there because when Casey Middlestat scored, easy play in front where you're not going to blame Ullmark on that. We'll get to it because Ullmark allowed 3 goals on the first 9 shots he faced in this game, but he had a guy not tied up in front, easy tap in, tough deflection, and a breakaway. Those are the 3 goals that got past Linus Ullmark. But when it became 2-1, you're like, okay, we need a pushback. And the Sens did. Drake Batherson on a power play. Great play from Tim Stützle to draw the power play there. Interference call. Goes down. Gets the power play. Drake Batherson was held off the score sheet for 10 games straight. He had 2 tonight, but the first one was a great passing play from Brady Tkachuk and Tim Stützle.
Yeah, I mean, like, what a great finish on that power play too. Like, you like that, like, crispy little pass across the zone, just like that. And he, again, just like one of those one-timer shots where as soon as that thing's coming across, everybody knows it's going in the back of the net, because NHL players, especially super skilled offensive players like Drake Batherson, are not going to miss chances like that. And he just hammered that thing, Ross. Boom.
And after the goal, the Bruins win the faceoff. They dump it down. And 20 seconds after that, 22 from the time the puck dropped, the Ottawa Senators score again. This time, Ridley Gregg gets the goal from Shane Pinto. So a multi-point game for Shane Pinto. Sens now in Shane Pinto's career are 12-2-3 when Shane Pinto has 2 points in a game. But this one was where it felt like the floodgates opened. And Ridley Gregg just Johnny on the spot right in front for a tap in. Like, it just goes to show you, and everyone wants Fabian Zetterlund to play more. Again, under 10 minutes for Zetterlund in tonight's game. But that line, where is the natural progression for him to move up to next? Pinto, Amadio, and Gregg. They've been the Senators' most consistent line, and they got it done in the first period, scoring 2 of those 4 goals.
Yeah, and that one came so quickly after the first one. They didn't even have enough time to announce the Batherson goal because it happened so quickly after the fact. And that was when the arena was at its loudest, I think, tonight, Ross. Like, everybody in the building, we're up 4-1 now. It's just like, we've got this thing. Right there, I was already saying, my dad's a Bruins fan. We know this. I texted him. I said, it's over, fella. The Sens have got him. It's over. So it was an enjoyable game from that point on, just knowing that the Sens, with a 3-goal lead with this team that we've got right now, it's tough to think that they're going to give up a 3-goal lead like that.
Well, when David Pastrnak scored first in the second period, you're like, okay, well, Pasta's going to get his. We talked on today's pod how Pasta just dominates. He's got double the amount of points as anyone else on his team, and he gets his 34th goal of the season. Then Drake Batherson scores beauty goal from Dylan Cousins, who now has 4 points in 4 games, a point in each game that Dylan Cousins has played. Great tip in front from Cousins off a Shabbat point shot, and Batherson's there to put the garbage away. 3-point night for Drake Batherson in this game. Then Kuznetsov scores on a power play, or on a breakaway rather, to make it 5-3. And we have to get to the play of the game. You already see the Postcast thumbnail tonight. Save of the year. What was it like in the building when Mason Lohrei had the entire 4x6 open and Linus Ullmark dives across to rob Mason Lohrei?
Dude, pure shock throughout the building. Even Bruins fans, right? Like, there's a good amount of Bruins fans in there. If you heard it when they were scoring, you could hear the Bruins fans. They were there. They showed up tonight. Very similar to the Rangers fans in regards to the percentage of their fans who were in the building. But I mean, like, it almost took a full replay for everybody to realize how massive that save was, because the way he dove across and caught that puck, Ross, was insane. That was, as soon as I saw it, I go, that was the save of the year, because he had no business stopping that puck. Look at this. This is ridiculous.
4 eyes on the puck, eh? The Martian's got it.
He's diving across, full dive starfish, and he gets his glove on that thing right into his glove. He catches it. I mean, that is pure athleticism, just spectacular goaltending. And that's the kind of stuff that, Linus Ullmark, he'll surprise you with his athleticism occasionally like this. He sprung across there, man. And I can't imagine what the Bruins bench looked like after they realized that he stopped that one, because what a huge save in that time of the game to get them within 1 goal. That would have got them within 1 goal, and then it would have been a little bit of a different situation going down the rest of this game here. But Linus Ullmark, there he is. He just made magic happen. This save should be the highlight of the night for the next week. What a ridiculous stop.
I tweeted at Time Magazine, you found your photo of the year. No need to look any further than that. I mean, his foot is 6 feet in the air. Like, his foot's at the crossbar level.
I know. As I'm saying, look at his right leg. He's full starfish midair.
We could literally just stare at this photo for the rest of the night. Could you imagine if Linus Ullmark's shot at the end of the game went in? And he had this save?
God. I mean, yeah, he'd be first star.
I mean, he was second star in the building, and I think a big part of it was this save, and in the third period, also on Mason Lohrei, going left to right and making a great blocker save on this shot. If you want this photo, I tweeted it out at Send Central as well. Truly remarkable. The save of the year. Saw in the chat people saying that Linus Ullmark wasn't about to let Matthew Highmore have the save of the year for his stick save against Philadelphia in the last one.
That's really funny. Whoever said
that. The fact he does it against his former team is just the cherry on top. Linus Ullmark makes that save and stops the final 16 shots he faces in this game, and Jeremy Swayman gets pulled after the first period, allowing 4 goals on 15 shots. We got Jack Richardson standing by for a Boots on the Ground report. We'll get into our Send Central standouts and more. But first, please allow me to tell you that Postcast is always brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub. The vibes are free at the GCP, and when I say that, I mean it. The Postcast would not exist without the Glebe Central Pub. They got live music every Saturday night. The food is delicious. The vibe's immaculate, and you can head there after the game, before the game, on a non-game day. But if you go on a game day, you will be able to get 10% off your order by letting them know that Locked On Senators sent you. So if you go there early enough, you can literally have the bus ride for free with the money that you save by going and enjoying a great burger, a great dish of nachos, the wings, elite, all of it at the Glebe Central Pub. The point is that if you want to go to a Sens game and be surrounded by Sens fans, the GCP shuttle is how to do it. They have tickets remaining for the March 20th game against Colorado. Remember, the Sens are playing 5 of their next 6 games on the road. That home game against Colorado, get on the Glebe Central Pub shuttle. It leaves an hour and 15 minutes before the game, and it'll bring you right back to the pub 15 minutes after from the same spot that it drops you off. They also have tickets available for the March 29th game against Columbus, and stay tuned for their website. They'll add the April dates. Senators play 7 of their last 8 games at home. The vibes are free at the GCP. Shout out to the Glebe Central Pub. Today's episode is also brought to you by a new sponsor alert as of today on the Locked On Senators podcast. It's Monarch Money. You ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and you start building wealth. Surprising insights, all-in-one convenience, and easy collaboration. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year. That's Monarch Money. Welcome back to the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan. That is Lalime's Martian, and you two just saw each other. We bring in Jack Richardson, Boots on the Ground report, looking good in the Brady Tkachuk jersey. Jack, let's pick up where Martian and I left off. Where were you? This is a where were you moment when Linus Ullmark dove across and made that glove save.
Ross, I was definitely out of my seat. I'll tell you that for free. I think that was the moment in that game that happened is more important to me than the actual save. Like, the Bruins were pressing there. It was one of those times where you thought, are the Sens going to let this go? And then Linus Ullmark, man, certainly not his best game, just games or goals he probably couldn't stop. But that save, Martian, we were talking about it in the second intermission, one of the best I've seen live. I mean, you can't script that any better. Like, diving across, completely out of it. The Bruins had a sure goal, and just Ullmark just absolutely robs them. That was one of the best saves I've seen live. So, Ross, to answer your question, I was out of my seat. I was on my feet. Boots were on the ground, but out of my seat for that goal.
Thank you for clarifying, because the chat thought you went pee with 2 minutes left in the period.
We know Jack. It might have been.
Listen, it might have been the old man who might have missed the game winner by Ridley Gregg, but you can't blame him. He saw too many goals in the first period. We thought it was over. We thought it was done, but then Ridley Gregg gets that game winner late in the first there. Yeah, but no, I mean, Ullmark I love when, I've talked about it before on the Postcast, when the Sens have the lead, Linus Ullmark is at his best. That's why this guy's got a Vezina. He knows that you got to make the next save, and that next save, oh my God. What a photo by USA Today, by the way, that you guys got for the thumbnail there. Probably the best thumbnail of all time for the Postcast.
Let's see it again. Let's see it again.
We can't get enough. We can't get enough of this picture here, Jack. So I was actually curious, Jack. I know you got the father-son experience tonight. It's awesome that you were able to catch the game with your old man there. That's great. And it was awesome to meet Graham as well there. But I'm curious your thoughts on the evolution of the Ottawa Senators crowd since the last time you were in the building. Because I'm going to be honest with you, this team has brought more and more fans into the building as of late. And I'm just curious to know what your thoughts are since the last time you were here. What does the difference feel like? And especially maybe if you went to a game late in last season, tell me the difference you're seeing in this fan base right now.
I just think it's excitement. It's more just excitement. Like, people are just looking like, we're sitting beside some people. Everyone's tapped into everyone on the team. I was having like in-depth conversations with the guy next to me. I didn't grab his name, but about like Ridley Gregg and Michael Amadio, like that line was outstanding tonight, but just everyone's tapped into everything about this team now. And the fun thing, Martian, that you and I talked about in the first intermission before he went in, we were all looking for Korpisalo. We were on Korpisalo watch after Swayman let in his fourth goal there. We were wanting Korpisalo. People wanted to see him, and then he comes out in the second. Right where I was sitting was right in Korpisalo's end, and it was great to see it because that's a full circle moment for me. It's live in the past, excited about the future and the present because the past is behind us. I'm just so proud of this team, man. I think the fans are coming around to this team, and I hope so because so many home games down the stretch, boys.
I was loving
home games.
Jack was like asking for Korpisalo in the first intermission. He's like, I hope they bring in Korpisalo for this one. He wanted to see Korpisalo get scored on or whatever. But
he saw 4 goals and he's like, that's Korpisalo's music.
Yeah, exactly what he's saying. He goes, I don't know what this means. He goes, I don't know if it means that they're going to score 4 more or if the 4 are already counting towards Korpisalo. It was really funny that, like, as soon as Jack left the box, the second period starts, and sure enough, they say, Korpisalo's in net for the Bruins. And I go, Jack, this is exactly what you asked for, pal.
Amazing. Jack, give us a Sens Central standout, man.
So I'm gonna start. I'm just gonna take the low hanging fruit. I'm going with Drake Batherson because, boy, did that guy need it. And not that he was playing poorly. I think lately with Dylan Cousins in there, man, he's a different beast. But getting the goals are important for Drake Batherson. He's an assist guy. He's a disher, but getting on the board like that makes this team so dangerous. And I really do think that Cousins being on his line has created so much space for Drake Batherson. I know one was on the power play, but he's able to go to the net now and not worry about battling on the walls because he's got to be the big guy on the wall like that. So that's what I'm excited about with Drake Batherson. If he's hot, if he gets hot again, because we've seen Drake Batherson get hot in his Sens career, then look out because like you could just pick any guy on this team and they can have a night like that. So I'm really happy that Drake Batherson got off the schneid in a way, goal scoring wise.
Love that. Jack, can we get either a Sens Central standout or a final thought on the boots on the ground report from the Ottawa legend himself, Graham Richardson?
Yeah, so here he is. He's focusing on the road.
Hey, boys.
Graham, we need a standout for tonight.
Oh, it's got to be that glove save.
Glove save. Yeah.
I think you guys said it too. Like, everybody went nuts, and I thought it was Bruins fans cheering. I'm like, there's no way he saved that. And I had to watch the replay to actually believe that he got that puck. That was unbelievable. That's my moment.
It was ridiculous.
Should we show the photo again? We may as well. I mean, this is the story of the game. This is the story of the game. I almost feel like we should leave this photo up for the entirety of the postcast. Graham, appreciate that because we haven't shown this photo enough. We need every excuse in the book to pull it up. Jack, we'll see you on Saturday. Sens Leafs, Battle of Ontario. Love the boots on the ground report, man. We'll catch you soon. Give me a go.
Peace,
Give me a
boys.
go,
Go
Sens,
Sens,
go,
go.
boys.
Good to
Go,
see you, boys.
Sens,
in the
go.
pod. Good to see you, boys. I'll see you next time.
There it is. Go, Sens, go. There goes Jack and Graham Richardson, Ottawa legends in their own right. On the other side, we'll give our Sens Central standouts and more. This is the Postcast presented by the Locked On Senators podcast. Today's episode wouldn't be possible without our friends at Indeed. When you're hiring, you need Indeed. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. Well, how can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other sites. Indeed's sponsored jobs puts your post at the top of the page and helps you reach the right candidates faster. I've been in that spot where you need the right hire like yesterday and the pressure's on, and every day without the right person is a setback. That's exactly when Indeed's sponsored jobs come in handy. They make sure your post is seen by the right candidates right now. And now you can speed up your hiring process with a $75 sponsored job credit. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying you heard about this Indeed on our podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, Indeed, is all you need. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel, the official sports book of the Locked On Podcast Network. March Madness is here. I'm not a college basketball guy, but everybody has to dial in to the first weekend of March Madness. You got upsets everywhere. FanDuel's giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's 200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories, and even who's cutting down the nets at the end. I love going with the underdogs. I stay in the action with live betting, and it's easy and fast. The FanDuel app is simple to use, and when I win, I get paid instantly, no waiting around. Just go to FanDuel.com to get in on college hoops action all tournament long. That's over at FanDuel. Welcome back to the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Lalime's Martian. You can follow us all on social media. The links are in the description below. Martian, it almost felt like Jack Richardson was, in those documentaries where they like black out the suspect's name. Yeah. It's like, this guy's too famous to come on the show. He'll give his voice, but not his likeness.
Yeah, Graham, you said Jack, but yeah, Graham Richardson. Yeah, he's a CTV legend, obviously. Like, I mean, if you came from Ottawa and you've seen him on your television screen many times. And I had the privilege of meeting him tonight, and he was a great guy. It was fun to, chalk it up with him and, talk sense. So nice to see him make his first Postcast appearance. We got to get all our dads on here eventually. That might have been the first Postcast crew dad appearance there. I'm sure Richard's around.
I think I threw my dad on for 2 seconds after the LA game early this year, the 8-7 win. I think Ricardo had a quick statement or two, but not long. Shout out to the over 600 people in the chat too throughout the Postcast. It matters like you wouldn't believe. We appreciate the heck out of everyone. Adam says only a highly evolved creature with 4 eyes can make that save. I couldn't agree more. And as the Martian would say, certainly Linus Ullmark had a little help from those 2 alien eyes on his helmet to give Ottawa. And I mean, that was let's put it in perspective, because we've been oohing and awing about the save. That was with 1 minute and 15 seconds left in a 2-goal game in the second period. If that's a 1-goal game going into the third after you were up 4-1, like all of a sudden it's grip your sticks tight time. And Linus Ullmark just let the boys breathe after that.
Yeah, it's all about the timing. I think Jack pretty much said it best. It's just like he knows the situation of the game, and he knows he needs to make that save. So he's super dialed in. He's tracking that puck extremely well. He read that pass like a book, and he finds a way somehow to athletically get across and make that save. Ross, I was stunned that he saved that thing. That was one of those ones where if you're the shooter on that play, you just look and you say, like, what could I have done differently? And the answer is there's nothing you could have done differently. There was nothing you could have done. You made the perfect shot. It was going to the back of the net. You just got absolutely robbed. And that's the kind of save occasionally you're going to need from your goalie as a playoff contending team and a team that's hoping to get into the playoffs here. So it's beautiful to see that Linus Ullmark is finding that form again. We've talked about it time and time again since December. Maybe not the same between then and now, but he's starting to find it again. And if he can keep this kind of thing going, look out for the Ottawa Senators. We're a dark horse in the playoffs here.
Well, I don't know if you heard the Fan 590 with Kipper and Jason Bourne and their producer, Sam McKee, who's a diehard Leafs fan. He goes, my nightmare scenario is playing the Ottawa Senators in the first round. The Sens, as Brady Tkachuk will tell you time and time again, have been playing game sevens for the last 7. Well, guess what? They're 6-0-1 in their last 7 game sevens. These guys are
That's 6 cups.
Hey, just over more than halfway to where the Senators are in franchise history. Don't let people tell you otherwise. Sens have 11 cups. Anthony wants to see the pick again. First, let's pull this up. We'll give our Sen Central standouts. We already had Drake Batherson by Jack and Linus Ullmark by Graham Richardson, and those two were the first and second star respectively in the building. It was a 6-3 win for the Ottawa Senators over the Boston Bruins. Sens outshoot Boston 31-25. Ottawa goes 1 for 2 on the power play. Boston goes 0 for 1. Sens snap back 53% of the faceoffs. They outblock the Bruins 15-11. Now Boston outhits Ottawa 33-22. Ottawa with 66% of the expected goals at 5-on-5. All right, Martian. So we got those two out of the way, Drake and Linus. Who is your Sen Central standout in tonight's game?
I'm going to go with young Shane Pinto on this one, Ross. I think that he set the tone really nicely in this one. He got that early goal in the game, and then a great setup as well for another goal there. So I think Pinto just generally had a really good game. I think that the coaching staff obviously was trusting him out there with 18-27 in ice time tonight. 3 shots on net and couple hits. So I think that Shane Pinto had himself a nice little night. So I'm going to go with Shane Pinto here. It's nice to see him producing yet again for the Ottawa Senators. He's that guy for secondary scoring for us. So I love Shane Pinto producing.
It's just awesome to see what he does when he's matched up against other teams' top players, right? Like he's not going out for easy matchups. He was out there against the Zacha, Pasternak crew all the time. And here's the LOSP stats department updated. Senators are now 58-11-7 when Shane Pinto has at least a point. And what's that now? That's like the math guy here, 76 games. We're almost at a full season sample size, and they have 11 regulation losses when he has a point. Sens are 19-1-1 this season when Shane Pinto has a point, 12-2-3 all time when he has 2. And RIP to the stat with Stützle, Norris, and Pinto when they all play. We've got that in italics, but Marsh, you want to read up what their stat is when Stützle, Cousins, and Pinto all play in the same game?
Looks like they're undefeated here, Ross. 4-0-0, and I love that. So,
man,
we got a new era here going on. New turn of the page for those centerman stats, and I love that. So. Great. And
I would say a little bit more like a quieter night for Dylan Cousins. He still finds an assist. And I feel like an underrated part of what Dylan Cousins has done is get Drake Batherson going too. He had no goals in 10 games coming into tonight, and he scores twice.
Yeah, I didn't find Cousins that quiet for the most part, honestly. Yeah. He's a +3 on the night, Ross, so he's out there.
Decent.
I mean, he's out there when the Sens are scoring. That's a good thing. And like you said, he's getting Drake Batherson going. He's the same thing. He's got that same matchup, right? He's dealing with the Pasternak line as well. He's helping out with all of that. 3 shots on goal for the guy. And 50% of the faceoff tonight is on the low end of what he's been doing as a Sen. He's been 70% in the circle his first 3 games as an Ottawa Senator. So, 50%, if that's his, floor as a centerman in the dot, then look out because he's a possession master right now, Dylan Cousins. The workhorse from Whitehorse keeps on trotting along.
I thought it was the white horse from Whitehorse.
The hot horse from Whitehorse.
He went 5 for 10 in the dot too. So it's not like he was 1 for 2, 50%.
Yeah.
He was 5 for 10 in tonight's
After
game.
The first, he was 1 for 3. He was only 33% in the dot there. So he actually made a little bit of a recovery later in the game too. When the faceoffs became more important, he was there.
My Sen Central standout in tonight's game is Ridley Gregg. I love what I'm seeing from Ridley Gregg. We're going to do a full segment on Ridley Gregg and how he's become an impact player for the Ottawa Senators. But not only the goals, which he's now scoring more. He got his 11th of the year tonight. But he just makes so many smart little plays all over the ice. And you got to think it took him a little while to get used to playing the wing. This guy was a centerman his whole life, but he looks like a pretty good winger to me. Like, he looks like he could be in that Sam Bennett mold where it's like he'll give you big, big goals when you need them, but just over and over again, he will find ways to contribute even when he's not on the score sheet. I thought Ridley Gregg was phenomenal tonight.
Yeah, you're dead right, Ross. He was awesome. And that's, for me, it's 3 games in a row from Ridley Gregg where I'm seeing kind of a little bit of an evolution from him where he, even though he's not the centerman, Ross, I'm finding him carrying the mail for his line a lot of the time through the neutral zone. He has the puck on his stick a lot, and he's always got speed. So that's one thing with Ridley Gregg that maybe doesn't get talked about enough is his ability to get his feet moving and the amount of speed he generates in a short period of time. He accelerates super fast. When he gets the puck, he's tough to maintain. He's tough to, keep out to the outside. And Ridley Gregg's going to find a way to the inside, whether you like it or not. He is a dog, Ross. And I know you guys.
Coyote, as we said on today's pod.
Yeah, he's a little dog, like a medium-sized dog. Yeah, I think he's going to become a full-fledged, absolute, just Rottweiler later in his career. He's still super young, too. You got to remember. I mean, this guy's also only, 22, 23 years old.
He'll be 23 in August.
I mean, Ross, let's think about the age on this guy here right now, what he's able to do currently. We are set up for success in the future with a guy like Ridley Gregg and all the other guys who are part of this core and this team. I don't know how. We're gonna be laughing here in 2 or 3 years. I was talking to my buddy too today at the game, Mark, and I was saying, hey, think about.
Don't get me too fired up, Bryce. And he's saying Ridley Gregg game 7 winner to defeat the Leafs in round 1.
I mean, you want to get us going. You keep talking dirty to me like that. But I'm telling you, Ridley Gregg, Tim Stützle, Jake Sanderson, all these guys came from the same draft. They're still pre-prime players. They're not yet in their prime, but they're already dominating. And when they become those guys who are those veteran players who are in their prime, they're going to be absolute scary players to play against. And these guys who are coming into the league at younger ages, they're going to be looking at them and they're going to be afraid of them because
Tyler Clevin can be thrown in that mix too.
Add him right to that mix. He's already terrifying just due to his sheer size and how he's filled out. But these other 3 guys, they're going to fill out even more and they're going to become men. And not to say that they're not already in men's bodies, but they're going to be heavier as they get older. So it's going to be awesome to see, and that experience that they're going to get throughout this year and the next few years is going to go a super long way to making them a powerful force going forward.
Powerful force is right. And Claude Giroux gets the empty netter in this game too. Claude Giroux now with 1,108 points. He is sneaking up on Darryl Sittler, who's sitting alone in 65th overall. He's about 15 points away from getting there. Just overall, and last note I want to have on this one, 2 actually, one on a player and then second on the Ottawa Senators, who are the number 1 team in the National Hockey League in March now, 13 days in and 7 games in. Tim Stützle, with his assist tonight, is now alone in 10th in franchise history in assists. He just turned 23 years old in January. He's 10th all time in assists. He's 9 away from Brady Tkachuk, who is obviously still active, and he is 14 away from passing Chris Phillips for 8th on the all-time Senators record books. Again, he is 23 years old, and his first season was only 56 games long.
You just blew my mind, buddy. Well, obviously he's going to smoke Phillips out of the water, but he's going to pass Brady too. And that's a guy who came into the league a couple of years prior to him. So it's you can't say enough good things about the German, Ross. This guy is an absolute stud out there. He's a physical specimen. His hands are ridiculous. There was a moment with I think there was maybe 6 minutes left in the third period. And the way he was dancing around in his own end just to get the puck out was something that you can't teach confidence, Ross, and this guy's got it in spades, and it's just going to get better and better as we go. I honestly, Ross, it might not be crazy to say, he's the most skilled player the Sens have ever had.
Yeah, I don't think that's crazy to say at all.
No,
Look at these numbers since March 1st. Senators are 6-0-1. They've got the second most goals per game. And this is a team that struggled to score through February and even into January. I know February is obviously a short month with the Four Nations break, but they've averaged 4.29 goals per game in March. They're tied for second for the best goal differential in the league, plus 11. And they have the most even strength goals, which is where they struggled the most. So we'll talk more about Fabian Zetterlund tomorrow on the show. Like, I'm not worried about it at all. They just added depth. That's what they did. Depth. And if Brady can't go in the next game, we hope he can. Obviously, it's against the Leafs. Fabian Zetterlund would move to a line with Tim Stützle and Claude Giroux. Like, they've got depth now. It's great to see.
I mean, I don't know where Nick Cousins is in his like recovery. I heard that he was going to be done for the season, like for the regular season at least. So hopefully he's able to come back for the playoffs. But if we get into the playoffs and then, you're looking at a fourth line of Gaudette, Nick Cousins, and Fabian Zetterlund as your fourth line, I mean, they've got that fourth line matchup locked in. Like that's a great group of guys to have there. They've got the grit, they've got the goal scoring, and they've got the, that heavy speed that Zetterlund brings too. I know a lot of people think that they brought Zetterlund in to be like almost like a top 6 or like a top 9 guy. But a really good team who's going to be like a quote unquote contender for a Stanley Cup or giving themselves a good look in the playoffs, you're going to need to have guys who are really good players on your fourth line. And Fabian Zetterlund kind of got brought in, and he's kind of fitting into that spot right now. I'm sure we're going to see him up and down the lineup down the stretch here, but at the same time, you can't complain when you have guys who are contributing on the other side of the top 9, like guys like Perron and like Amadio. Like, I think those are the names that people are tossing around to get moved down. But like, why would you move them when they're producing at a perfect point? And Zetterlund right now is, he's not a liability on the fourth line. He's helping that line. If anything, all those guys are looking better because of him. It just makes the team better and more well-rounded and balanced. And the matchups are great.
People in the chat mentioning the New York Rangers got a win tonight against the Minnesota Wild, and that sucks for Columbus. Ottawa with a win now is 75 points, 5 points up on both Columbus and New York Rangers, who are tied for the final playoff spot. Senators have won 5 games in a row. Martian, any final thoughts here after a 6-3 win over the Boston Bruins?
Nothing crazy, Ross, for me. Just going to be a good, hard go, Sens go for the final thoughts on this one. That's a good win against the Bruins.
Bring on 5 of 6 on the road. It starts in Toronto on Saturday. We'll have a preview of that on tomorrow's show, and we'll get Pilsy's thoughts on tonight's big win over the Boston Bruins. For Lalime's Martian and Jack Richardson and Graham Richardson, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been the Postcast presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and the Glebe Central Pub. Make sure to check out the Glebe Central Pub at 779 Bank Street and their Send Shuttle, just $17 round trip to and from the CTC. We'll see you tomorrow on LOSP. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.